Breaking news, a sheriff's deputy rushed to UT Medical Center after being shot in Knox County. What we know about his condition and the suspect who may have fired those shots. And new details about that deadly train derailment in Washington State. What we're learning right now at 11.
WATE 6 in your side. News at 11 starts now.
We begin right now with breaking news out of East Knox County. Everyone, good evening. I'm Kristen Farley, a Knox County deputy in the hospital right now after being shot, responding to a call of an attempted suicide. That call happening just after 7 o'clock off of Noe Hill Lane. KCSO saying the suspect shot at the officer and then the officer returned fire.
It does have the officer involved shooting 115 No Hill Lane. 115 No Hill Lane. Officer has been shot in the county.
The suspect was shot in the shoulder and was also transported to UT Medical Center. WATE 6 on your side reporter Madison Keevy joining us live right now outside of UT Medical Center where that deputy was taken. So Madison, there are a lot of deputies' cars that have been there obviously at the hospital tonight. What is the atmosphere like now? What can you tell us?
Well, Kristen, just a few minutes ago, some of those deputies that are gathered just outside the doors of the emergency room were greeted by a few that were inside. They talked for a few moments, sharing hugs. Then they went back inside. Dozens of cars, as you said, are still here in this parking lot. And earlier, dozens more were along Asheville Highway. I actually talked to a neighbor that lives near where all of this happened, and he said he heard loud sounds but didn't know what was happening.
I heard the sirens, then at about 8, I saw the semi in the front yard. I did think it was an accident, and I saw the police lights. I wasn't sure what it was.
Now, at last update, the officers, it was in stable condition, and the suspect's condition is still unknown. Kristen?
All right, Madison, be sure to keep us up to date throughout the night. We appreciate it. Meanwhile, everyone, Knox County Mayor Tim Burchett tweeting out right after that shooting. Mayor Burchett saying, quote, say a prayer for the Knox County deputy shot tonight in East Knox County. Again, everyone, we'll continue to keep you up to date on this story. We'll have so much more online, and we can also push out any information through our app as well. Make sure you download that. Well, in other news tonight, everyone, investigators still at the scene of today's deadly train derailment in Washington State trying to figure out what caused nearly all of those rail cars to go off the tracks. New here at 11, ABC's Marcy Gonzalez hears from passengers about those terrifying moments.
That rail car left dangling in the darkness, just part of the aftermath of this Amtrak crash that killed at least 3 people and injured more than 100 others.
Amtrak 501, emergency, we are on the ground.
All but one of the rail cars careening off the track south of Tacoma, Washington, several crashing onto the busy highway below during the morning rush.
Things just started to tip over and as it was going around, and then all of a sudden just ended up on the side and everything went dark.
The train started to wobble for a moment, and then we were catapulted at the seats in front of us.
Chris Carnes on board for this, the inaugural run of a newer, faster Amtrak route between Seattle and Portland, tweeting just moments earlier, wow, this train is fast. We're passing up traffic on I-5. Then just after 7:30 a.m., a locomotive and 12 cars with 86 passengers and crew on board rounded a curve, then plunged off both sides of the overpass.
Is everybody okay?
I'm still figuring that out. We got cars everywhere and down onto the highway.
At least 7 vehicles, including 2 semis on Interstate 5, crushed. Other drivers jumping out of their cars, rushing to help.
We climbed underneath the train as best we could, and there was people like with half their bodies pinned who couldn't move, and were in a lot of pain.
Other victims walking away from the scene in disbelief.
When I stepped out, I didn't really realize I was standing on another train car.
And one local mayor raised concerns about this faster train service just a couple of weeks ago, saying he worried it could lead to deadly accidents like this. The NTSB has a team on the way to investigate the cause of this crash. Marcy Gonzalez, ABC News, DuPont, Washington.
Meanwhile, President Trump kicking off his speech outlining his administration's national security strategy by first acknowledging the suffering in Washington state following that accident.
Let me begin by expressing our deepest sympathies and most heartfelt prayers for the victims of the train derailment in Washington state. We are closely monitoring the situation and coordinating with local authorities. It is all the more reason why we must start immediately fixing the infrastructure of the United States.
And we'll be sure to continue to stay on top of this story, let you know as soon as we get more information. Be sure to tune in tomorrow morning at 4:30 for Good Morning Tennessee for all the latest details on this accident. And check out our website, WATE.com, and our app as well. All right, everyone, time now to turn our attention to the forecast. And meteorologist Matt Hinken joining us from the Storm Center. Matt, it was just kind of a damp, soggy day out there, and now we got fog everywhere.
And you're going to deal with the same thing tomorrow morning as we did this morning with low visibility. Then fog advisory has been issued by folks at the National Weather Service. This will be overnight through 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Most everybody's going to see some low visibility, so be aware of that, especially if you're in a fog-prone area that usually gets fog. You'll have it thicker than most everybody else, but there will be some pockets of fog first thing in the morning. That tells our morning fog. After that burns off, then we've got some late rain in the forecast later tomorrow, and especially tomorrow night into part of Thursday. Right now it looks like Thursday's going to be a weather aware day for us. The rain increases again late tomorrow, again into tomorrow night, and as we get into Wednesday, hopefully moving out by Thursday. We're talking about a weather aware day for your Wednesday afternoon. But tomorrow, once the fog burns off, we're going to be in great shape. We're sitting at 45 right now. Really don't expect these temperatures to drop much more than maybe 2 or 3 degrees the rest of the night. So what it feels like out there now is what it'll feel like first thing in the morning. So we've got 45 in Knoxville, 48 Tazewell, 36 in Gatlinburg, about the cool spot, except for 34 just north of Athens. And there you can see some of the fog developing across the area. Not going to move all that much. As a matter of fact, it's probably going to thicken up as we go through the evening hours and into the overnight hours. Tomorrow morning is school bus stop. Some kids still have school to go the rest of a couple more days. Looks like it's going to be mild, but that fog to deal with. Give yourself some extra time in the morning. We'll look ahead to the Christmas weekend coming up.
All right, sounds good, Matt. Thank you. Well, new tonight, everyone, a plea deal has yet to be reached for Dylan Adams in the Holly Bobo murder trial. After a brief recess, the judge saying attorneys still have not agreed to the terms of a possible deal. Now, if a deal is not reached by January 22nd, there will be no plea to a reduced charge, and the case will then go on to trial. Adams is accused of kidnapping, raping, and murdering Holly Bobo. Back in September, Dylan Adams' brother, Zach, was sentenced to life in prison for her murder. Sevier County Commission meeting tonight to talk about some changes in the aftermath of the deadly wildfires from last year. One move in the works, we've been talking about this, a new warning siren system. A county spokesperson telling us the sirens would be set up in 9 areas around the county near schools, with the resolution also calling for no more than $375,000 to be spent on this system. Also up for discussion, changes to a deadline for removing debris from the fires. The current deadline is the end of the year. Well, tonight they're considering a move to push that deadline back to March 31st if property owners apply for a permit before January 1st. Both of those issues, by the way, passing unanimously earlier tonight. Well, if you are an artist, everyone, listen up. The city's Public Arts Committee inviting artists to submit their qualifications to create an iconic site-specific piece of permanent public art to be installed in the Cradle of Country Music Park downtown. Now, the major piece of art to be commissioned for up to $500,000 will help transform that key public space at Summit Hill Drive and K Street.
To have this park be not only a wonderful place to come, but to enjoy artwork just makes a lot of sense.
The deadline for artists to submit their qualifications is 5 p.m. Tuesday, January 16th. We'll keep you up to date and let you know what they decide there. A local veteran getting a pretty big surprise on his birthday. We told you about Tim Reagan before. He's a disabled Marine vet who received some cards from Knoxville students for his birthday. Well, tonight, Tim got an even bigger surprise. Members of the community in Sevier County coming together to throw him a party. Well, still to come here at 11, everyone. Outages at Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport still causing headaches tonight. We have more on the cause of the outages and how passengers are trying to still make it to their destinations coming up.
We do have a pretty mild week in progress, but it also will enjoy a couple rounds of rain. The first one coming tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night into early Wednesday, and then a break Thursday before another chance for rain later in the week. That gets us closer to the Christmas weekend forecast. I'll have all the details coming up.
Jeremy Pruitt back in Tuscaloosa for Alabama football practice, and we're taking a look at the Vols recruiting class by the numbers. Also a new quarterback that could be on campus next year. That's straight ahead in sports.
And the holidays are all about giving, but one pastor really shows us what that means. Why he literally gave the shoes off his feet to a person in need. That story when we come back. You're watching WATE 6 on your side. News at 11.